Hi again guys, today we're going to create some user interface for our application using Facelets, templates, JSF faces and PrimeFaces and some WebFlow navigation. Previously we connected our application to database, so now we are ready to build some nice things here. Still we will require to do some additional configuration related to Spring security, but that will be addressed in the next videos. So, user interface view that we want to show to our application user usually consists of two essential parts. One of them is templates and another is compositions. If you remember, we have now one template and one composition included in one flow definition file. So let's go to our source folder and find our template. Here it is, and another thing is our welcome XHTML file which use that template. We included some test case here to test our application. Let's just perform some cleanup. We do not want this here anymore. And here we had some heading. Let's delete these and just leave in place UI insert. Okay. So templates are used to hold common things for all flows. It's like a layout for our web application. So the final view that our application user faces is construction that includes both things. First one is the template and another is the composition. So it's like inheritance. So our composition, for example, here in welcome XHTML file, inherits all components and declarations in our template. So actually view can be constructed of several templates, and another template can extend parent template, and so that way we can create some inheritance which helps us build complex web applications. So we already have some common things for all flows, like content type and title, which is actually injected from addressed from particular composition by referencing this insert point with the name title. There's another thing that we want to share with all our all flows is cascade style sheets. And by the way, let's create one. We include it in our head tags only once, and that will be used in our application by all flows and subflows that use this template. So okay, let's go and type some cascade style sheets. So we need a link tag, let's see what we have here. Style sheet, type text CSS, and finally our reference. And now we want to reference our application context path, which is root path. So we can do it by typing following construction. Request dot context path, following by our resources servlet, which we defined in our web.xml file previously. So we want to address our resources using this resources servlet. Then we have CSS folder here, so we address that folder and exact cascade style sheet that we will call style CSS, which will create right now. So okay guys, I remember that someone mentioned that resource servlet is deprecated, but we still can use it. I will address this issue in one of the upcoming videos. Now let's go to our CSS folder and create a new file and name it style.css. Finish. Okay, we have style sheet. Now we have linked cascade style sheets that will define our application user interface that will be used in all our application and all compositions as well. Next thing, here in body tags, let's expand it. We do not have here any layout, so let's create it. First of all, we want to create new div container. Okay. And give it ID container that will generally hold our all components and other containers. So inside that we create another div which we will name ID header, yet another give ID content, and the last one footer. And let's move this insert name body into our content and give name exact as our container ID content. Let's include in our header and footer inserts as well, in case we want to address these containers from our compositions. Let's copy this here and here and name this like that. Let's go to our styles and define some properties to these containers. So okay, style CSS. Let's address here our main container. And some properties. Width. Say we want 95% of width of our browser. Hey. Let it be 600 pixels. So some margin auto, and let's add some padding. And probably some shadows. Let's say okay, save this. You can save this one, and here leave as it is. Later we'll add content. Let's just test what we have done. Okay, I'll compile. And start my server. Open browser, type in fun. We see that we created some frame with some shadows, and it looks nice. Probably too much height, and that's not a big problem. Let's say we wanna here 80, sorry, and some margins from top, say 50 pixels and 0 pixels. Save. Let's look how it looks now. Oh, I didn't expect that. Well, let's try to remove this one. Okay, much nicer. Let's add some background image for this container. I already have prepared some noise texture, which is that, and we're gonna put that into folder called images, which we will create in our CSS folder images, and I'll just put this noise texture to our images, and later I'll commit this to repository, so you'll have these available. And let's add background property. URL, and if I'm correct, then this should be path relational to our CSS file. So just type in images, and what was the name of our noise.png, and let's look appearance changed. And I'm not sure if you can see, but there's some noise background added to our frame. Now let's address some header properties. Let's set height to 60 pixels. Then some text to center, and background color let's say not quite black, a little direction to gray. Okay, let's see if we can here text color white, and let delete these paddings. Okay, let's see what before we test, just wanna see some text there. Let's say please sign in. Okay, now we can test. Okay. Okay, that's cool. I wanna add some padding to our header from top. That would be 15 pixels, and padding to our container from bottom, let's say 50 pixels. Just another correction, 70, and let's remove these top. Now when our appearance are more or less constructed, we can create some forms. Let's say we want to create a login form, authentication form that the user will face on his first request to our application. We've finished our template. Just another correction here. This will cut out, and let's say we want to put this in that. Okay. And we can close our template HTML file and go to our composition welcome.x HTML file. So here's some sort of things we need correct. First of all, as we discussed, we wanna create the first view, which will contain authentication form. Then accordingly we want our title of our page to be the following, and you wanna insert the heading into our template header section. By the way, I need to correct this to content. And our heading will be the same. This should be header. Now I'll create a form that consists of components from two libraries, which is JSF HTML and PrimeFaces. Basically, PrimeFaces is an extension to JSF, which adds some new components and overrides some components of JSF. So here we used JSF HTML to output our text, and now we gonna use this library to create a form for to hold our fields. So I will make pauses while I typing to save some time. So I'll start from creating a basic form tag, and that's how it looks. So using the form from JSF library gives us more capabilities to our form, so that like AJAX requests and another special handling. So I typed an ID for my form, like login form. So the next component will be from PrimeFaces library. That's basically is a field set that's like a frame with some legend on it. So just this is just for a nice appearance. And inside that, I just create a table to hold our fields, and it's a component from JSF HTML library called panel grid, with some ID, styles, and some additional attributes. So here inside I put some titles, using panel group to group two titles into one cell, and so the first one is user, and just asterisks that indicate that this field is required. So the next one is input text field itself. So that's that is a component from PrimeFaces library that allows configure it with some attributes, like required true means that this field will be validated against empty, and we leave empty value by now because we do not have any Java beans to bind this value to. And we have some label and title here. We need that to add some additional cool feature. To our field is a tooltip, also from PrimeFaces component, which actually shows pop-up with some description related to that field. So we define by this attribute that this tooltip will show for this field, input text field, some style classes, show event. We can choose from different show events. So we'll use focus and hide event blur. And let's just do the same thing for our second field, which is password. And finally, let's put some submit buttons here, and it is also defined in PrimeFaces libraries and looks like that. So it's a common button, some ID, empty action. We will add it later when we'll have our module. Then there's attribute called update. That is because all components in PrimeFaces is Ajax enabled by default, so we need to point to the component that should be updated on hit on our button. So we update log panel grid, which is our whole table, and some messages component which we do not have currently. Basically, messages component that also is in PrimeFaces library catches and shows the user messages that were thrown from faces context. So, and there's some icon to our button and value to be printed on our button. So I'm adding messages component from PrimeFaces just before our panel grid, where I want messages to be shown. Fine. And yet I want a second button that will redirect to sign up, view state for new users. And let's copy this and create another button and call it new user button. Action. In this case, I'll type in action that will be initiated as event, which will be handled in our WebFlow definition file to make transitions to another view states. So I'll put here new user. Let's keep it by default log panel grid messages. I'll delete this icon attribute. Maybe later we'll add some specific icon to our button and change the value to sign up. And let's, by the way, try if something works or not. So I'll save this, stop the server. Some exception occurred. So it says here that we cannot leave action empty, not a valid method expression. So I think it tries to say us that we cannot leave common button actions empty. So I'll add here action like sign in. Let's try again. Okay, we finally have some form here. It's not correctly positioned yet, but it is great news. So let's see if our tooltips work. So you see that enter your username or please enter a password. So it's nice. Probably should consider change order of these buttons. Okay, and let's see if some validation works. So this is Ajax based validation, which gives us error messages right away without refreshing whole page. So you see these fields are red colored and framed, and here's the message that value is required and password value is required. And yeah, you see that the heading were inserted in our template as well as our page title.